Is evil real or not? I guess when you've been hurt by evil, by an evil comment, or physically hurt, feels very real. But perhaps if we pondered it for a moment, we think, what is evil? It's darkness. And what is darkness? The absence of light. And therefore, maybe it's not so real.
What does that mean? Evil?
Evil. Maybe it's not so real.
I'm not convinced.
You're not convinced? No? You convinced? Ariel Shlomo, are you convinced?
We'll have to see the argument.
Wanted to hear what's your argument. Is evil real or is it not? Is it a mirage?
Definitely real.
Is it definitely real? Okay. One vote for real. Nachem is real. You think it's not real?
Yeah.
So we got 2-1 over here. What do you think, folks? Is evil real or not real? Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zirchen Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We conclude today chapter 29. Chapter 29, as I've mentioned many times, is after 28 chapters of incorporating the teachings of Tanya in your life. I've tried to bring it down to a level that we can appreciate because this is a very lofty and demanding teaching. How lofty and demanding? Well, let's hear what the Alter Rebbe says of what it means for the Beinoni, that they take total ownership of their lives. It's so much that they want to reduce the negativity that's in their heart that stems from the natural soul, the animal soul, that's dulling their passion and their love for the divine. And they want to bring it down, that negativity.
That's cool.
So, says the Alter Rebbe, consider the following, and this is after many different things of working on oneself, is consider the following. Imagine you have dreams at night. And what do you dream at night? Some of the things that are either consciously think of during the day or that are deep in the subconscious of the individual, and they only emerge through a dream. But it's an indication of who you are. And who are you? Who are we? Well, our dreams are often an affliction to us. You wake up with a nightmare, or you wake up with a crazy dream that makes no sense. And it doesn't make any sense. You know why? Because we're an afflicted soul. So therefore the dreams only represent that affliction. So the Beinoni will consider that and say, that's how much the Beinoni owns their personal life. That they look at that and they see that they are distant. Because the righteous, when they dream, it's actually divine communication. God communicates with them and gives them insight, whether it's into teachings, gives them insight into life, and it is not an affliction of the soul at all. It is communication from the divine. For us too, but it's an affliction for us because we're afflicted souls. So the Beinoni, who is feeling the dullness of the heart, that isn't having the great passion, ponders this, meditates upon this, in order to crush the negativity from within. As I've said many times, don't try this. If you haven't done 28 chapters before this, is this your entry point? Ooh, no, not your entry point.
Never eat Tanya again.
Right. Yeah. Continues the Alter Rebbe and says another method to use. And what is our guiding principle over here? What's the point over here?
Breaking the animal soul.
Breaking the animal soul, breaking the negativity from within, in order to allow the divine soul to emerge, so that the divine love that there is in our deeper heart, in our divine soul, will be revealed. will be revealed. So let the person reflect on the following. And now, till now, it was about a reflection in the mind. Now the ultimate says, you know what? Don't just think about this, meditate upon this. Actually speak it out. Rage. It's a rage against your animal soul, right? In other words, talk to your animal soul. You despicable, you not good for nothing, right? This is the idea what our sages say in the Talmud. They say in the Talmud that a person should arouse their good impulse against their evil impulse. Rage that you shouldn't sin, that you shouldn't do wrong. Again, be careful with this. I must tell you, I actually did this yesterday for myself. Because whatever crazy negative thoughts coming in my head, and then I said, you idiot, stop that. Stop those negative thoughts. You are not those negative thoughts. They're not you, and just trying to take control of you. I'm not going to let you take control of me. Having negative thoughts. And I actually spoke to myself, raging to myself. You're nothing. Now, in that rage says to you, again, you're speaking to that negative side in you. You're saying that you're wicked, you're abominable, you're loathsome, you're disgraceful. And what's the point in this? Because you speaking to it, how long are you going to obscure the divine light that's in me? That's in me, that's pervades the entire world. That's preventing me from seeing the divine light of God in me and in others and in the world around me. God created this moment. God is here in this moment. And you're trying to conceal that truth from me to your, again, this rage against yourself. God hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is that me in repulsing the truth. I'm not going to allow that to happen. What's going to happen? You're going to allow your divine soul. And again, I learned this yesterday, and it came in handy. Because, well, what a point thinking. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And we all have whatever negativity that we have that comes to us. That's it.
Rage and arrogance a lot.
Huh? So no, this is not coming from arrogance. It's coming from recognizing who's arrogant is the abominable animal soul is arrogant, right? And why does this work? Why does it? It actually works, and perhaps it's something we can all try for ourselves, but be very careful. You have to come from a strong place of knowing who you are. And the reason why it works is because you're humbling the spirit of the negativity that in the end has no substance, has no reality. That evil part in us is not real. It seems real. And that's why it takes us over. But in truth, in the presence of light, it's banished. It's gone. It doesn't exist. And those negative thoughts went away from me. It went away because it's not real. Because when you bring light, darkness automatically is removed. Now, you might say, yeah, but those thoughts, there's some substance or there's some reality to it. The only thing, and isn't it God giving it vitality? God is giving vitality to the negative side only so it could rear its ugly head to make an illusion for me, to make it seem real for me, so that I will be, in order that, for what purpose? I should overcome it. That I should find greater strength from in me, dig deeper inside of me, and know that the only reason God gave it any power is to try to overcome me. Not because it has power. It has no power. The only power that negativity has is given by God. And the only reason God gives it is to try to overcome it. So in reality, it's nothing. It's nothing. Unless I make it into something. I make it into something. Right? Allowing it to dwell in me. Allowing it to feel like it's real. Right? Is that clear?
It's clear.
This is unbelievable. It becomes automatically nullified, banished, just as darkness is nullified before physical light. And this is even more so because that's only in physical reality. This is much more powerful. Unbelievable. With this, then, the Alter Rebbe explains, we can understand the spies, the story of the spies. Moses sent 12 spies to spy out the land of Israel. 10 of them came back with a negative report. And not only did they come back with a negative report, but then the Jewish people were convinced, oh, forget it. God can't do the miracle for us. God did all these miracles till now, right? He won't do the miracles. Without going into details on how could they be so foolish, well, delusional, as that's what the darkness does to us. It makes us delusional to think, oh, that God couldn't do this. He couldn't be victorious over the nations, the Canaanite nations in the land of Israel, right? Then afterwards, Moses came and said, God is very angry with you. And he spoke with an anger to them. And what happened all of a sudden? They said, oh, okay, we'll go up. Yes, okay, God, you could do it. What's going on over here?
Using anger appropriately.
Yeah, fine, that's true. Yeah, but that's not the question. The question is, what changed in the people? Just because Moshe is angry and showing God's anger to them, all of a sudden now they became believers? They didn't believe that God could do it. Now, all of a sudden, now they do believe. It's not like God made a miracle to show them that I could do it, or Moses made a miracle that I could do it. Nothing was done. So all of it, only because you displayed anger, is because, very simple. The truth is that we're believers, the children of believers. That's the Jewish people. We are believers. All of a sudden we don't believe. That's only a folly that enters us, but it's not our true reality. It's not authentic. It's not real. Right? It's not real at all. What's real? Is God. And the truth of God is real. This is not real, that the delusion that God can't do. So all of a sudden, by screaming, or not screaming, by raging against the Jewish people, all Moshe did was take away the exterior of the delusion, take away the haughtiness of the animal soul that rears its ugly head and, I'm a something, and all you do is humble it, that you're nothing. And what comes out? The true something, that we're believers, that yes, God could do it. Even when they express that they don't believe, the Jewish people are still believers. Right? The non-belief is not a true reality. It's nothing. It's mere darkness. It's mere air. Then all it needs is to be humbled. When it's humbled, it's nothing. And that comes out as the true sense that we have, believing in God. And God can do miracles. Right? Because sitter acher, the other side, is just empty words, empty air. It is nothing. And therefore, sitter acher itself entertains. Sitter acher itself even doesn't entertain the notion that God can't do. Because Sitter Acher is a power of God. And its only power is given is to bring a confusion to us. Becoming delusional, to think that there isn't a presence of God, the reality of God, the authenticity, and nothing else but God. Right? And that's only to give us the power to dig deeper inside of ourselves, that we should overcome that delusion, that sitter acher, the negative side, so we can get over that. And this is the parable of the harlot who attempts to seduce the king's son with falsehood and deceit, with the king's approval. Right? As the Holy Zohar gives, a metaphor. The king, God Almighty, allows the harlot to seduce the prince, the son of the king. Why? In order to bring greater power out from the son of the king, to see that he's really made out of royalty. Because indeed he is made out of royalty. After all, he's the son of the king, right? But the question is he going to act as royalty and not take the seduction? So in this metaphor, right? So the seducer is the evil inclination. The evil inclination, the Sitra Achra, the way it is in its root source, is like the first harlot. She knows the game, the score of the game, because she's working for the king. Right? She's working for the king, right? Working for the king, right? So she knows the score, that this is only for the good of the prince, right? But in the metaphor, our evil inclination, don't think, knows the score. Because our evil is like a harlot who hired a harlot, who hired a harlot, who hired a harlot, all the way down that finally your evil inclination, all it knows is it wants the evil. It doesn't know about the purpose. It lost that, right? In the root source, that's how it is, and what God and the intended purpose. But the way we experience it as evil. It is evil. And we need to know that it is. Why? Because we don't choose it. Not just it's an abstract, no. It's evil. It's wrong. It's against what God wants, period. So that's when we're ever brought up, to any kind of seduction. And we are. We're seduced by food. We're seduced by self-doubt. We're seduced by negativity of, comparing ourselves to others and not feeling good enough, and therefore we are down on ourselves, or we put down others so I could feel secure in myself. It's all the same negativity. It's all the same evil inclination, right?
Yes.
And it's all the same battle that we have with the negative side, with the Sitra Achra, and that we need to know that in its root source, it's nothing. We experience it as something, but we have to know that we have the power over it. It's only coming there to seduce me, that negativity, in order that I can show that I am royalty. Act as royalty, not just be royalty. And that's what we are. And that's what we do. And that's what the Jewish people did when Moses got angry at them, expressing God's anger. So, people say the God of the Old Testament is angry. Angry. Not angry like, as we get angry. It's like Moses get angry. Why does he get angry? Only to humble the negativity inside of us, to give us the empowerment that we can humble it. God gets angry to give us the power so we can humble our negativity, the Sitra Achra, inside of us, and not let it rule. And with that, we conclude chapter 29. So folks, if you want, take a moment when you have a negativity, rage against it. But only if you are secure and know who you are. Because you're going to do it not knowing who you are, so then you're going to think you are your negativity. But as we said over here, no, not at all. You are not the sum total of your negativity and your positivity, for that matter.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's see some questions. We have some questions over here. I see Carlos has a question. Carlos, if evil is evil not real because it's the absence of goodness and light, in as much as that they are people in societies, unfortunately, that don't nurture or cultivate the neshama with goodness. So, let's say there's two different ways that we could experience. If someone hits you and you feel the pain, right? Does pain mean that it's evil? No, pain means it's pain. You don't have to experience the evil, right? You can experience the pain.
You can turn it into evil.
Well, yeah, no. Not to say, by the way, the perpetrator of evil is evil, right?
Yeah.
Hamas is evil, right?
Yes.
No question. And that's why it needs to be humbled, eradicated.
Yeah, exactly.
It needs to be eradicated, right? 100%. So on some level, the eradication of that evil is because it's not, on a deeper level, it's not because I'm experiencing evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because it is itself evil. And it is darkness. It is Sitra Achir. It is against God. And therefore, right, it needs to be destroyed. Now, we're simple people, so of course we're going to experience that. And we're going to experience that because we have an evil inclination ourselves, so we're going to experience the evil of that evil inclination. But a righteous person, no, not that I'm righteous, I'm not righteous, so I don't really know. But just based on what we learned over here, this idea, is they're experiencing it on a different level. They're experiencing it as just the darkness, as the harlot is the first harlot that is summoned by the king, right? Right, that it's been, and even then, and whatever, the truth, I don't know. Okay, Jeff. Was God threatening the Jewish people in the example of Moshe speaking against those non-believers? Is that was removed the Sitra Acher? Could you argue that the threat of disconnect was was eliminated the doubt? Do we sometimes have to impose threats to remove this? So I don't know if I like the word threat. I don't know if I would use the word threat, but I think the point is the way Moshe spoke with such assertiveness, such authority, such truth, that what that did is humble the negativity in the Jewish people and brought out what they naturally have is a belief in God. So they're not really non-believers, they're believers, but a moment of, insanity, of where you don't believe because the darkness seems real. So it is a disconnect, a disconnect from the deeper truth that we have inside of us. That I think that's, and that's what we have to remove. So I don't know what you mean by imposed threats. Like when I was having some negative thoughts yesterday, and it would just pop in here and there, and it didn't overtake me, but it was just like this is not coming from a good place. it brought me to it was about me and my self-doubt. It was about me and my self-doubt. And I just, no, that's not the reality. That's the truth. You are just trying to, to derail me and to not allow me to be me, to shine. Vicky, we recognize the truth when we hear it, and we'll overcome the fear, doubt, and the confusion. Yeah, okay, that's very good, Vicky. Yeah. When someone speaks the truth, I think that's good. When someone speaks the truth, and got to be somewhat open to it, not closed, obviously, right? And you hear the truth, that gives us the empowerment and to overcome the fear, the doubt, and the confusion. 100%. Yeah. Well said. Why do lots of people say that Satan made me do it? You're right. Satan did make you do it. That's the metaphor of the harlot, right? The harlot is seductive, but we chose to be seduced. So we need to know we have that freedom of choice, and not to be, right? Absolutely. And with that,